The Greedy King, a tale of wisdom and consequences. Once upon a time, in a kingdom surrounded by golden hills and crystal-clear rivers, there lived a king named Midas. King Midas was known far and wide for his immense wealth, but there was something that set him apart from other kings: his insatiable greed. No matter how much gold he possessed, it was never enough. The more he acquired, the more he craved. He believed that wealth was the only path to happiness and that nothing else in the world mattered more than the gold in his treasury. Every day, King Midas would sit in his royal palace, counting his riches with glee. He would run his fingers through piles of gold coins, admire the golden statues that adorned his throne room, and feel proud of the vast treasure he had accumulated over the years. His advisors and subjects would often remind him of the beauty of his kingdom, the love of his people, and the blessings of peace. But the king's heart was always empty. He longed for more gold, believing that once he had it all, his life would be perfect. One fateful day, as the king was lost in his thoughts of wealth, a soft light filled the room. The air shimmered, and before the king stood an angel. Her wings sparkled like silver threads, and her eyes shone with wisdom beyond the ages. King Midas, taken aback by her sudden appearance, rose from his throne and bowed in respect. "Your Majesty," the angel said, her voice as gentle as a breeze, "I have heard of your desires. You are a man who wishes to be the richest in the world. Is that truly what you wish for?" King Midas, his heart racing with excitement, did not hesitate. Yes, I want to be the richest man alive, to own more gold than anyone could ever imagine. I want to hold in my hands the very wealth that everyone dreams of." The angel smiled, a smile that held both kindness and knowing. "Very well," she said. "Your wish will be granted. From this moment on, everything you touch will turn to gold." The king's eyes widened with delight. He could hardly believe what he was hearing. Gold. Everything he touched would turn into gold. He would be the richest of all kings, richer than the gods themselves. Without waiting another moment, he eagerly thanked the angel and rushed out of his throne room, eager to test his newfound power. The first thing the king touched was his bed. As his fingers brushed the soft fabric of the mattress, it instantly turned into solid gold, its once fluffy texture now hard and unyielding. A gasp of joy escaped King Midas's lips. He hurried to his golden bed and marveled at its splendor. Next, the king touched the furniture in his grand hall. His wooden chairs, tables, and mirrors transformed into glimmering golden pieces, reflecting the sunlight that streamed through the windows. The royal palace sparkled with wealth, and King Midas could not contain his laughter. "This is only the beginning," he thought. "Soon, I'll have a kingdom made entirely of gold." Feeling a sense of triumph, the king moved on to the next step of his plan. He walked into the royal kitchens, where his servants were preparing his favorite meal. A delicious feast of roasted meats, fresh bread, and fruits filled the room. King Midas reached for the loaf of bread, and as soon as his hand touched it, it turned to gold. He touched the meat, the fruit, the vegetables, everything became solid gold. At first, the king was delighted by the sight of his golden meal. But as he attempted to take a bite, he realized that the food was no longer edible. His teeth could not sink into the hard gold. He could not chew or swallow. His stomach growled with hunger, but no matter how much he tried, he could not eat a single bite. Not to worry, the king thought. I'll simply drink water to quench my thirst. He reached for a cup of water, but as soon as his fingers touched it, the water turned to gold as well. Now, not only could he not eat, but he could not drink either. The king's joy began to fade. He looked around at his once beautiful palace, now a cold and lifeless place of solid gold. His servants, who had once brought him joy, could no longer perform their duties, for everything they touched turned into gold. The king's golden world, which he had once longed for, was now a prison of his own making. In a state of despair, King Midas began to weep. The tears fell from his eyes, but instead of hitting the floor, they turned into tiny golden droplets that rolled away. His heart, once full of pride and satisfaction, now felt emptier than ever. But just as he was about to lose all hope, the air shimmered again. The angel appeared before him once more, her face serene and full of compassion. "King Midas," she said softly, "you have asked for wealth, but wealth alone cannot bring happiness. You have learned that gold cannot satisfy the soul. What you desire now, I will grant you, but you must promise to change." The king, humbled by the sight of the angel and filled with regret, fell to his knees. "Please, I beg of you, take this curse away from me. I have learned my lesson. I was wrong to desire so much gold. I see now that it is not worth the cost. The angel nodded gently. Your wish will be undone. But you must promise to be content with what you have, to value the things that truly matter, love, family, and kindness. These are the treasures that cannot be turned to gold. King Midas, filled with relief and gratitude, promised to be content. He swore that he would no longer be greedy and would treasure the simple joys of life. He asked the angel what he needed to do to reverse the spell. The angel gestured toward a river that ran through the kingdom, its waters clear and cool. Go to the river, and sprinkle the water over everything you have turned to gold. The spell will be broken, and your kingdom will return to its natural state. King Midas hurried to the riverbank, his heart full of hope. He knelt beside the water and dipped his hands into the cool stream. As he sprinkled the golden objects with the river water, they slowly began to change. The golden statues returned to their original forms, the golden food turned back to nourishment, and the golden water became liquid once again. As he worked, the king's heart lightened. With each touch of the river water, he felt a sense of peace wash over him. The golden prison he had created for himself was fading, and in its place, he saw a world of beauty, not in wealth, but in the people he loved and the simple pleasures of life. When the last of the golden objects had returned to its natural state, King Midas looked around at his restored kingdom. His palace, his servants, and his subjects were all as they had been before. The riches he had so desperately sought were gone, but in their place, he found something far more precious, his happiness. King Midas turned to the angel, who had watched him with kindness. Thank you, he said, his voice filled with gratitude. I understand now. I have learned that true wealth is not in gold, but in the love we share in the moments that bring us joy. I will no longer be greedy. I will cherish what I have. The angel smiled warmly. You have learned a valuable lesson, King Midas. May you live the rest of your days in peace and contentment. With those words, the angel vanished, leaving King Midas to reflect on the wisdom she had shared. From that day forward, King Midas ruled his kingdom with kindness and humility. He no longer sought to accumulate wealth, for he had discovered that the greatest treasures in life were the simple ones, love, friendship, and the joy of living in the moment. And so, the greedy king became the wise ruler, cherished by all. His kingdom thrived not because of gold, but because of the happiness and harmony that filled the hearts of its people. Moral: true wealth lies not in material possessions, but in the love and contentment we find in the simple joys of life. Greed can blind us to what truly matters, but when we let go of our desire for more, we open ourselves to the greatest treasures of all.